9 and
Okay.
it's already time for us to go to bed. Yeah. Okay. Well, hi ladies. How are you guys
Again.
today? Hi Lillian. Hi Heidi.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
I can share first. I'm not
Go
really
ahead.
100%, just to be honest. Like I'm not. I have like humongous headache and tried to shift. I couldn't since morning until now. I couldn't. It's just getting heavier, and yet to find out what's happening. So, so that is me at the moment. But in the morning, I'm very productive and clearing the house, clearing my room, and yeah, and get my grocery like all my month's job. So done. Hashtag month's work. month's live on Saturday, so it's all done. So and it's good that it's 3 p.m. start because I had more time. I actually rest on the bed just now, have a bit of rest before I join. So yeah. So I'm still yet to find out what's happening to myself. But so far, I reside in Sydney and the weather is a little bit playing up as well. So super wet for like 72 hours. And it was wild weather and flooded, like nearly flooded. I mean, my place nearly flooded, but over all around the river area and the beaches area, already flooded anyway. So yeah. So thanks goodness that the sun is coming out this morning. So yeah. So that is probably just to paint a picture where what is my environment look like and my personal my person feel like now. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
How about you, Heidi? Thank you, Lillian, for sharing.
I'm doing well. Um, I'm um I guess just winding down right now. Um, my baby is spending the weekend with his dad, so I I feel a little lonely. So I'm trying to spend my time doing other stuff. Yes, it feels good to relax for a little bit and like do things for myself, but I miss him, so I don't want to think about it. And so I'm doing work actually right now. And it's funny because when he's home, I I'm always after him and he makes a mess and he's a kid. But I'm like, "Oh, you never let me do anything." But now he's not here and I'm like, "Okay."
That's normal. That's normal. And that's one of the things that I have noticed. A lot of moms, especially moms, once we become moms, it's kind of like we take that role. We're gonna be moms, right? And then when our kids grow up and they move on, or become independent, or get married, or get out of the house or whatever, a lot of women tend to have some sort of like they become very depressed because they're basically not moms, or the kids are not dependent on us anymore. So that's we deal with a lot of things, a lot of feelings of abandonment. Maybe we believe that our kids don't love us anymore because they don't need us anymore, but they do need us, and they do need us, but in another level. And that's something that I have noticed as women. Like, personally, um my daughter, she's in college, and I'm still getting used to her not being with me throughout the week, but she comes on the weekends. But I feel that when she comes, she stays here for few days, and then she goes back. I feel like I'm going through the same trauma again. Like my daughter's here, and suddenly she's no longer here. So I have to find a way to disengage, to allow her to be herself and become independent, because that's when the issue of codependency and attachment issues come into play. So you as a mom, he's little, your son is little, but try to like this time that he's not around, try to do some me time, some self-care. That's not, you're still gonna be his mom, and he's gonna be okay where he's at, because for sure he's gonna be well taken care of by the father. But still, like wherever you are, just send them blessings. And because remember, our kids are the extension of us. So if you're sending him that reassurance, even though you're not here with me, I still love you, and you're gonna come back. That's gonna give him more security, more like more sense of let's say, like sense of belonging, and that reassurance that once he comes back, mommy's gonna be there waiting for him. So it was, it's just a thought that I wanted to share with you.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Yeah, no, I definitely do try to do things for myself. But I noticed that when he's gone, I try to keep busy. So those are the days that I clean up and I try to like meditate more. I try to spend more time with Alexis, my other son, if he's here. Um, or like I'll even like do stuff on my own. Like I'll go somewhere with friends or with my sisters, or sometimes I'm just home watching TV. I don't know. It just depends on how I feel. But yeah. And actually his dad already called me, my son's. He called me. He's like, he's been looking for you since he woke up. He's been asking for you, and can you just let him know that he's staying here?
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
yeah, and then one thing that you can, it's this is just a suggestion, just for you to talk to him, like come up with a plan, you and him, so you both can do the transition smoothly, better for him. Like, okay, this time you're gonna go with dad. My mom is gonna be here waiting for you. And the same thing when he comes back, dad can do the same. You're gonna stay with mom, gonna go away next week, next weekend, we're gonna see each other again. So he already knows, even though he's little, but they understand. Kids are very smart. So just to give him the assurance.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I do try to tell him even like a couple days before, but I think it was just because when he was picked up, he was asleep.
Oh,
So yeah,
mm-hmm.
I think that's the hardest part. You know,
Yeah.
he knew, but then he was asleep with mommy, and then he woke up and he was with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I spoke to him and I reassured him and I told him he's gonna be okay. So you'll be home soon. And of course, I love you and all that stuff. And okay, mommy. So
See?
yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm glad that you were able to talk to him and give him the reassurance, and then the mom still loves him. Okay, ladies. So I was thinking about like the topics that I would like for us to discuss today. And I would like to start with a question. Um, Going back, basically like follow, like make the transition a little smooth from the previous time that we met and today. Like, going over continue to talk about the role expectations from our culture, from our parents as females. I have a question for you guys. Do you guys ever felt the difference between the expectations from you as females and the expectations for your brothers as males that your parents had? Were they the same? Were they different? What are your thoughts? Or what was or has been your experience in that topic?
I guess that from my background. Oh, sorry, Heidi.
You're okay. You're okay.
Yeah, I guess that from the cultural background, then my parent is pretty fair. There's no, which is a lot of very traditional Asian Chinese backgrounds that the boys got everything because they are like, you know, more to, like the family had or the generation, like the males, I mean females, like if you married out, you just belong to somebody else, like somebody else, right? So I'm glad that my parents, although that both my mom doesn't come from a very high educational family, but my mom never had these kind of thoughts, did not shower with these kind of like traditional thoughts, and none of the doing or that they bring the like my brought up, I never fell into my family and my extended family. Even though my mom's side, now I'm thinking of my mom's side and my father's side, I do not feel or do not hear this conversation about male, boys and girls, especially, or male and female. Normally, the parents will talk about the son and daughter first in a way that how their educational level or like
Mm-hmm.
money status level. Let's say, oh, I'm gonna give the man, like, you're married and you have this X amount of money, or the female, oh, you just have a little bit of that, like dowry, let's say this way, dowry. And is all equal in my family, which is very I feel really blessed. I did not feel the imbalance. So yeah. But of course I had to bring into this the government in Malaysia did feel the whole countries is literally imbalanced. So I just bring into one is the educational system in Malaysia. If you are most of the Asian, whatever the like Chinese Asian, according to the look, literally it's according to the look and your surname. If you are in the government after high school, you wanted to go to college, and in
Mm-hmm.
the Malay people, right? Let's say the mark, like when you go to college or uni, you have these certain mark that you need to achieve. Let's say I want to become let's say business, I want to go into the business course. Let's say
Yes.
88 mark is 80% to go in. Everybody, all student going to one exam, and then the whole country have that exam and just one mark 80%. The local or the Malay people, even though they get 50, they can go into the business course.
Mm.
And with support,
Oh,
yeah, with the support of the government's money. But Asian, even though you reach 80%, like 80 the mark, you may not go in. It's not 100%, even though it said it's 80.
very strict.
Yes. I mean, it's really imbalanced. It's not even strict. It's just that even though we reach the mark, you are not, because it's the class is full. Because they richly want the local people to go in first, even though they're very base, like 50 marks. So that's why you can see a lot of Asian in Malaysia, I can't say other countries, right? Study abroad and then never return.
Oh.
So this is like you are literally kicking out of the intelligence that could help the countries.
Mm-hmm.
There was once, I think it's like 1997, when the economy really unbalanced, the government called back all the studies, all the students, the overseas student back to support the countries.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many go back, not me. So, because there's no, that's like, if I go back, then what do I get?
Yeah. You
It's
don't know what to expect.
yeah. Sorry, I never worked
I
with.
just said that you don't know what to expect if you go back.
Yeah, the thing is that because the root is already growing overseas, and it's not only my generation, it's just like it's many a generation being discriminated. This is literally called discrimination by self-contract on my own country, by the color of the
Yeah.
skin and then the look. So that is imbalance into, and you brought into, of course, we're talking about the family, right? We're talking about families. So the family, the kids, like I'm the kid now. Like, I mean, I'm the adult. For the kids, I already know. The kids in Malaysia already know. And now I'm the adult
Oh.
in Malaysia. It's like, it is like this. It's like this. So it's like become a normal, and we have to study really, really hard to go into the local uni. So yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So that is the
So they have really, so what I'm hearing is that they have really high expectations.
whether they have a high expectation with the local people, you have like marks only fraction of the mark you can go in. It's literally you are looking after your own people, but not the same people as not the same color. The discrimination is huge. So yeah,
Oh my,
yeah, just in the educational system is a lot to talk about. So yeah, that's all.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that brings
That's very,
that can
that's very,
bring, yeah, family. That can why we could talk about family here can be because when the culture, let's say the Malay people like the Asian people, there will be the families.
yeah,
Yeah. It just like becomes a norm and you grow up in a country like this and your culture also like that. So yeah, it's really huge impact from the country perspective. I mean, the family ancestral is already like this. The trauma is already like this, and you stay in the countries is like this, you're depressing of that kind of like negative consciousness, and you become like, oh, that's normal. What can we do? So
yeah.
yeah, that's all.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very strong. Yeah. Thank you
So,
so much, Lillian, for sharing. Heidi?
Um, so in our family, um, majority are girls. So that I remember, growing up was really hard because um I have a younger brother. We have a younger brother. And we're pretty close in age, but I always saw that even since we were children, like that difference that was made between us. Um, he was always with my dad, and my dad would always um like have him with him wherever he went. He would buy him toys and food and whatever he wanted, right? Candy, balloons, balls, and stuff like that. And um, we wouldn't get the same treatment. Um, and so that continued as we grew up. Um, it was for me, I just felt like as a woman, I had to, like as a female, I had to gain respect in the family. Like I don't know if that's how I felt, and not necessarily that that's how it was, but it was like I had to work hard to get there, but he didn't have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he was getting the recognition and that respect because he was a male. Um, I remember we were already teenagers. Still, he was younger. He was like 12. And we were begging our parents to let us go to a party. And my parents said that we could go to the party if our younger brother would agree that we could go.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that so vividly, and like it really bothered me like a lot. So it just felt like we had to be in good terms with him so that he could say it was okay for us to go. But that was ridiculous. Like
Wow.
just the thought that our younger brother would have to give us that permission, right?
That approval.
Like yeah, it wasn't only receiving permission from our parents, it was also him. So if he said no, that anything was out of the question. So I mean it was always like that where like he could do anything he wanted. He didn't have to ask for permission. And it was always like we could get away with stuff only if he was around, if he took us, if so I that was kind of hard. Um and I don't know. I mean, I guess this goes back to like when we were talking last time, our chat where like we were there were certain expectations of us girls, right? We had to um take care of our image, and as women, right, we had to be good girls, and um we always had to have him around to make sure that we were behaving in a sense. So
Hmm.
I think that was kind of hard. I also remember when like um also growing up, he eventually like understood us because we would talk to him a lot, but um like my dad and my mom would instill in him and would instill in us the fact that he was the guy and he didn't have to do certain chores or certain things around the house. Um, so that wasn't his role; it was ours, type of thing. But he kind of grew out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well, yeah. Um, just to just to hearing your response makes me think two things. One, I feel that he was also put in that role without even him asking for it. So in a way, he was also a victim of that because he didn't even know what to do, or how to respond to that big responsibility that was put on his shoulders. And then another thing is like that sound like mom and dad weren't trusting your judgment, or they maybe they were just thinking like if you stay away from where I am, you're gonna act whatever you want to act for, like, you know what I mean? Is like, so what is it like? They never mention what were the expectations, or how do they want the girls to act or behave, or you know what I mean? I think it was a lot of it was overwhelming just to be a girl.
yeah, it was. It was, and it was just like, to be honest, it almost felt like we were in some type of like um like a prison because um it was like we were always being watched, we were always being judged. It was hard for me as one of the younger sisters because um our parents were a lot more strict because of incidents from the past with older siblings. Um, so it was just really hard. It was like, I guess it was like a way of like preventing us to make the same mistakes. So they had to like pull on that leash on us per se.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's um it's more like they were using the same cookie cutter for each of the girls. They were expecting the same for each of them, and wanting in their mind preventing for like mistakes to be made from the older sisters. And yeah, that brings me back to when as I mentioned last time we had this discussion. um I try to do I try to do everything perfect. Like I wanted my parents to feel very proud of me. I was always trying my best to be that perfect daughter. Always, all the time, all the time. Like I wasn't even enjoying life because I was like making sure that everything was perfect, that my mom wasn't getting upset, that whatever. Like always try to like basically like minimize things, like make it perfect. But in a way, I was also trying to avoid my younger sisters to get in trouble because it was very hurtful, very painful for me to see my younger sisters getting in trouble, or like the way my mom would talk to them. I didn't like that. As again, I just want to remind you guys that I'm very protective, overprotective of my, the people that I love. So I think I just was born with that. And I remember like trying, like always trying to like convince my mom, like, no, mom, like this and this, not even like that, blah, blah, blah. I was basically taking the role as a parent. And now I feel like, why? Like, I feel like I didn't even enjoy my teenage life, or like my life as a younger adult, because I was trying to like, trying to protect everybody and for all like the family system to work smoothly. And it was overwhelming. I remember once I had a conversation with my dad. It was something about a property that, the family has in Mexico. And I made a joke. I said like, oh, you know what? I'm planning to go to Mexico. Maybe I can fix a house and blah, blah, blah. And he turned around, he looked at me, he was like, what are you talking about? That that house doesn't belong to you. That house belongs to my sons. My sons. And we're like, what do you mean? So because we're females, we don't deserve anything? And that's what basically he said. And I remember when I was gonna start college, I don't know, I was just sharing with him. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to college. And I was so excited about it, right? And he was just looking at me like strange. I was like, what happened? I thought I was expecting him to be like excited and proud of me. And he told me, he was like, well, I don't see the point of you going to college. Oh, what do you mean? And he said, well, if you go to college, I'm not gonna, he said, like, I'm not gonna benefit from it. Whoever's gonna benefit from it, it's your future husband. I felt so bad because he, in his mind, like the role of a female, it's just to get married. And for the first years that I was married, I felt that I was coming from being under the control of my father, and I was just basically transferred to be under the control of my ex-husband. So it was very difficult, very, very difficult. So it was, it's just very, now it's easy for me to express that and share it. But back then I was ashamed. And I was also angry, very angry with, with the expectations, with my parents' expectations, and as a wife. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've felt that, especially like because I used to be married. So when I was married, I thought I like I would feel and see um like a difference in the way that I was being treated by our parents. Like it was more like I had a name, I had a title, I was respected because I was married, right? So when I
Mhm.
got divorced, it was different. It was like such a like devalued kind of thing. Like it I almost felt like I was making the family feel embarrassed. Um and it was hard. It was hard to like see that.
Yeah.
Pretty hurt. Yeah.
Hmm. Thank you for sharing. Lillian, do you have anything else to comment? If not, then I will move on to the next question.
No, I just hearing both of you just sharing, and I can feel into the emotion, the deep emotion of both of you. So I acknowledge and I see both of you that is like sharing the sister heart together, and I'm just here deep listening. So yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. So regarding that, being married, or maybe the three of us have something in common, that we were married once and we're separated or divorced. It comes to mind another question that I would like to ask you guys, ladies. Do you think it's society fair with us that having to, like being a separated or divorced female, having to basically reshape or rebuild ourselves and starting all over, like from scratch? How has it been for you guys?
I can
You
share.
said how? What was the question again? Sorry, you can share. You can share, Lena. But what was the question again? Like, how was it?
Yeah.
Starting from scratch.
Okay, after being married and then transitioning to being divorced, separated, and having to basically reshape yourself, like starting making yourself, like rebuilding yourself all the way, like from scratch. Has
Yeah.
it been easy, difficult? What has been your struggles?
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead, Lilian.
Well, you're already on. You should go ahead. I'm okay. I can share first. So I can I can share what I have felt as well. And my separation start from probably July last year, or I mean, signed a paper recently. Signed sort of like, legally, let's say legally signed off, been approved by the court is February. I don't know if I remember now, honestly. It just ended this year, the beginning of this year. And my my the process actually kick off start from May last year. And then it was settled, and then July is literally filled in the form. So that is a journey of where the whole, the paper and the signatures and all of that. But I wanted to share with you what I feel into. I think that I shared this with Rosa is I don't use the word divorce. I use the word shift. The relationship is shifted. There's nothing called
Yeah.
divorce.
Yeah.
And if two-person evolve, we learn each other's along the journey. If one person evolve, one is not, you will break apart.
Mm-hmm.
You need to see it very clearly. I decided to detach. That is a very spiritual meaning, but also that
Mm-hmm.
when I heal, because obviously that I do have my own healing, like self-work, inner child, mother womb, father womb, all of that healing, femininity, masculinity, those kind of wounding, when blended together to heal, we are become very clear of who we are. And the thing that we see is very much very different. If someone of resentment, we see it, we feel it. And how are we going to communicate to that person is also very difficult, because they don't they feel that we are weird. Why you talk like that? You don't talk like that before, this is my experience. So the way that I speak also change by his feedback. So
Oh.
yes, so that is like mental already split apart, different parenting style already split apart. When we see the kids doing the wrong thing, I teach them different way. He will be very controlling that like this.
Dictating.
Yeah, so that is like already very different, already split apart. So what is the children receive on these two parents? Confusion. So I see all of these being already separated itself. So I have literally sit down myself, what is happening? So that is called shifted everything. So I am the one that stand out, and I said that because he asked me, what do I really want? I said separation. So I am the one that actually said it. And he went to my parents. She said that your daughter, this. I don't know what I do. I support my family, this. I do everything, this. Like everything, he is good, he's good, he's good. I'm doing a lot. But this showing that unworthiness is showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Resentment is showing up. Blame is showing up. I just see it. I do not say it back. Everybody have their journey, right? Like he is not conscious. He's unconscious. However, that I share it, even though just a normal, it's a personal development thing. It's not spirituality. What is spirituality? It's a soul language. It's literally, yeah, he just, normal people do not look at themselves. So in the beginning, I was shut. I only do energetic work to do the multidimensional self, higher self of him, but I become suppressed, repressed, and oppressed. And my body also tear apart because I clearly did. I had a fall. Huge fall on my knee when I was in conference. I was bleeding. And that is like my soul move. I do the work, but my physical body in this room, I have not moved. That is my big aha moment. I have to have a call for my human body to be evolved, because soul had to be in the body to move together. There is no use that however that you do for your soul, your human body not actioning, not moving, not saying it, walk the talk. That is my huge aha moment. So I had a call. I did a shift. We went to therapy, which is the normal couple do, right? The school sent us. The school knows because the kids impacted.
Yes.
Yes. So it's actually start from the kids. So that story I will share with you later on, but it start from the kids. I went to therapy. I said, you want to go? She said, we have to go together. I said, oh, you want to go? Okay, I join you. So I support fully whatever that he thinks that he could help. I also see that what can we do, right? But at the end, in the therapy session, I become the therapist. And then he said, that therapist help you. It doesn't help me at all. Okay, then we don't need to pay them. No more session. So, so
You
yeah.
should say, pay me, I'm doing the work.
Yeah. So that is just something that it would not work. So yeah, so the transformation of me is already huge. My human cells is climbing together, but in steady and also in a very peace mind, because I know that it's already done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Thank you.
I'm very surprised that in this journey, I'm actually very peace and really calm. And it is not like, oh, you're doing the right thing. There's no right or wrong. When it's shifted, it is shifted. So co-parenting. So we did a 3-way forgiveness to balance the energies. So yeah.
Yes.
Because even though until now, he doesn't really know exactly what is going on. There's no fine like clear why. And I asked, is that important to know why? Because when you know why, you will pinpoint that needle going in and poking and poking and poking. There's no point. So yeah.
Yeah.
So he is, if that is, if I do it this way, he will be the one that always reactive, the code. He's the one that get angry again, reactive again. Because I no longer get reactive on those relationships anymore. I have shifted.
Yeah.
So when you talk about what happened to outside society, I don't need to announce that Lillian, he has divorced. When the conversation landed, just like he, I'm open and transparent. I don't need to announce. There's no need to post in social media. My family knows about it. When they ask, I just say, because the truth is the most important. There's nothing to hide.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
You know your truth, and
mm.
you know the reasons why you decided to shift, to make this, this shift for you and your kids and the father of your children.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Heidi?
Hmm. I'm glad Lillian is having such a peaceful time. Well, for me, it was very hurtful. Um, before I separated, because I separated first and then did the divorce. Um, when I was still married, actually, I was already starting my spiritual process. I was learning things and I was trying to learn more and, get into this fully. And so my ex-husband wasn't supportive of that. He was very scared of it and he thought I was crazy. And I know a lot of it had to do with that too. Um, so when all this happened, um, the one thing that really helped me was just holding on to this spiritual process. And it was very, very helpful, honestly, very helpful. But it was a very hurtful, emotional process. Um, but I got through it. There were times where I was even crying for like all the plans that I used to have, or the plans that we used to have as a family. I remember crying for the kids that I was envisioning, the family that I was envisioning with this person, being with this person for the rest of my life, type of thing. Um, just kind of processing that and like saying goodbye to all those things that I wanted that I couldn't have. Um, and then obviously, my ex-husband, right off the bat was in another relationship. So it was kind of hard to see that. Um, also going through my process and everything. But I also I was hanging on to my work and the fact that I had to stay strong for my kid. Um, I Now I talk about it and it's a little funny, but it really wasn't funny. It was really hard. When my kid would go to sleep, that's when I would cry like a crazy lady. I would yell. I just was just taking out all the pain that I was feeling. I would break things. Uh, Um, and so, when I couldn't hold it anymore, like I would have my ex-husband come and pick up my kid so that I could be alone and do what I needed to do. So, um, there were times when like I couldn't help it and I would break down in front of my kid, not as bad as, but he was able to see that I was also hurting and that I'm human. And So that kind of helped, as well. And I always had my kid in mind. And it's really hard for them. And like you said, kids are smart. They know. So I think for me, it was more important for him to be, for him to be okay than like me. Right. But I also had to be okay for him. So, but I mean, as far as like, just being independent and financially stable and stuff, that actually came easier to me than the emotional, spiritual part.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I just felt like overall society, family, it was like I wasn't worth as much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very true. Thank you so much for sharing.
Can I share
Um,
something when we
yeah.
have been talking about it is lately, my mom had knee replacement and replacement surgery, right? So I went to Canberra, like 3 hours away from here, and very surprising. My auntie also went to Canberra and visit. So my auntie, I only have one like blood related auntie in Australia here in Sydney. You stay not far from me. So we all have these kind of auntie that tick, 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 tick behind your back. So she is those type like with this antenna very high and can just everywhere. Like the news is I haven't even talk about it. It's like spread to the Malaysia already. So those
Oh my
antenna.
goodness.
So highway antenna. So the thing is that I knew it for somebody else that non-related. They said, oh, I heard about this. They heard that I got divorced. I said, oh, I haven't even talked to my extended family. So this is like my father-in-law because they have my father-in-law is here, my mother-in-law is here. They have a little group of like, these little not club, but these sports club that gathering every like coffee session or something like that. Bingo, that's it.
Uh-huh.
Bingo. So somehow I don't know how the whole thing, like these Chinese whisperer until the end of it, the whole message changed. So somehow the message is come back become really distorted. So, but the thing even distorted, people love to hear distorted messages. So the whole of I don't want to say whole of it, but let's say whole of it in Malaysia, people know that the reason that why my separation. But that is okay with that. For me, it's okay. But the most important thing is I wanted to share is he went to my mom and I was there when he opened up the blind, the hospital blind open and I was there. And it's really, really interesting that I see this person in front of me saying a lot of unpleasant things about me. I still like open, but I can see she's feeling shame.
Mm,
I can see that she is the one that looking at me like this, like, look at this eye at the side, like up and down, those kind of look.
yeah.
And I just look at her straight in the eye, right? She doesn't know where to look.
Yeah. She was
And for me,
embarrassed.
yeah, so she obviously she doesn't know that I know. And I find
Yeah.
that this is like really interesting behavior that when we know, when we straight, nothing to hide, even though you talk about it, whatever you add salt and pepper into the conversation, right? It doesn't affect me. So whatever that she spread, it become no charge.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
you didn't give that much of the interest, the importance.
yeah.
You basically you basically like shut it off, but with kindness.
Yeah, so I still call him, I call her as an auntie and respect. We call, we say hi, we say bye, all of that. These like status in the family, we need to call properly. So yeah, she is very much like that. So I honor what she like. So I presented and she just nothing to say. And she probably wanted
Mm,
to be, she never seen Paige before. It was when
wow.
we met, we walked past like this. I wanted to say hi, introduce Paige to her. She walked past like I'm transparent. I got a shock. I told my mom. And my mom also know they spread around, but my mom also the same, just like we only have one auntie. It is okay.
Yeah.
So we
It
accept.
is interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting how you're like us, we feel that our families or relatives should be more supportive when we're going through these shifting, like a lot of things that we're going through at the same time. But many times, those are the ones who break us more. I remember when I decided to, like that was it. Like I couldn't bear being victim of domestic violence for so many years. It was just too much. I told him, this is it. Like, no, I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be with you. He stayed few days because it was like, I think that was the breaking point, because that was the last time that he hit me. He hit me in front of my kids. And the way my son, he was the oldest, the way he responded was, for me, that was a breaking point, because I noticed that my son was so traumatized. He was so scared when he see this man hitting mommy while mommy was sleeping. So that was it. I was like, this is it. No more, no more, no more, no more chances, no more chances. And I told him, you gotta leave, you gotta leave. And he tried to convince me, like, no, we're gonna go to therapy, we're gonna do this and this and this. No, no more, no more. You gotta leave, you gotta leave. And he tried to convince me like for 3 days. After that, I said like, no more, no more. So I remember when I came back from school, I felt something was different in my house. Something like this emptiness. I was like, something's different in my house. So I went inside and I was like walking around, and then I went directly to the closet, and all his belongings were gone. And at that moment, I was like, I breathed in and I was like, okay, this is what I wanted. And now I need to prepare. I need to prepare, because from this point, I'm going to be reshaping myself. It was difficult. I remember crying for about 6 months every night, every night, every night, until one day I remember, but I used to do a lot of meditations and reading all kinds of like inspirational stories and listening to soothing music and things like that. But I feel like I started my spiritual journey since I was a little girl. I knew a lot of things that people didn't know, but I didn't have the support, or I didn't know how to get the help. I just knew things without even knowing that I knew them. So after that, I started like meditating and this and that and that, and doing my own healings and this and that, and doing my research and learning new things, new coping skills and all of that. Until one day, I remember after 6 months, that day I woke up and I wasn't feeling that pain in my heart anymore. It was just wonderful. I was able to breathe. But I remember that when my parents found out that I was gonna, like, I separated, my father was upset. He made comments here and there, because the father of my children, he was a totally different person. With me, he was very abusive, very toxic. It was a, it was basically like you were talking about two different people, being the same person, two different people. With me, it was horrible. With my family and friends and his family, he was sweet, he was very respectful, blah blah blah. He was playing that role. So my father, I remember, he didn't believe what I was telling. I was telling them like, well, I'm separating because of this and this and this. And he didn't believe me. No, 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 no. He was blinded. My dad was blinded. He was blindfolded until one day. And I was hurt at the beginning. I was like, you know what? I don't want to be explaining myself or trying to convince my father otherwise. So I remember once my father heard something that the father of my children had stated about me and my family and blah blah blah. So that's when my father realized that what I was saying, it was true. Yeah. But I mean, now it's easy for me to share, like talking about this topic, but for many years it was a very sensitive topic for me to discuss. But I remember that I took the determination to announce it, to say, you know what? And I did it on purpose. I announced it to my family and some of the friends that I separated from the father of my children, because in our culture, people tend to ask you questions, or they tend to ask you about your partner. They know that you're not with them anymore, but they do it like for me, it's kind of like emotional cannibalism. They do it and they want to like stick the hand in your heart because they know that that's going to be painful for you. So I said, no, I don't want to go through that. I am going to announce it. And I said it, look, I separated from the father of my children. And I did it because I didn't want them to be asking me about him. Please don't ask me. We're not together anymore. So please don't ask me. And you know what? That prevented me from more pain. So I did it like that and it worked. It really worked. So I don't know how you guys did it, but that's the way I did it. And it worked for me.
You know what? Everybody have their own different way, because I mean, there's no right or wrong way, because it's about families and environment that we all are in different. The thing is that as long as we are not self-harm and we pick up ourselves again, we're allowed to have these all emotions because it's healthy. It's time to express of this repression of the women, of the wives that we have. You know, we can hear it a lot of the, I don't have money, I don't know how am I gonna get lovers again, and just all of this, and how like, even though you don't have husband before, you also survive. It just the same, it just like go back to that again. And because it's sort of like you said, the codependency, that we do not know that we become one, probably, or maybe we already
Yeah.
so this is all like, you know, when this happen, we go into become spiritual or awakening again and become a new me.
Yeah.
Death and reborn, like renew, rebirth. So it's good that we have this death and rebirth, because that is showing that we are evolving.
Yeah.
Because I see that when we in as a human on the earth, is we are not evolved. I have been like 44 years, well, 43 years, straight lines, like no involvement, but pushing ourselves, myself for, let's say, 40 years. I have paid when I was 40. So yeah. And then it was again, after 40, I had this spiritual awakening after I had her.
Yeah.
Oh, that is all come into that is the timeline that we are at that moment that you are at, when you say yes and no, that is where whatever that is open for you, the initiation is there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so what does that mean? That means that human learning, human experience.
Yeah. And it's for us to grow,
Yeah,
to reshape ourselves, and
transform.
I think it has to do a lot with taking the determination to take that as a, like, those experiences, take it as a positive experience, as something like a learning lesson to become a better person.
Correct.
And that brings me to the next question. How was it? How was it for you to, when us females become the wife, and then after being the wife, we become the mother,
Mhm.
and we tend to leave our dreams back, or goals, personal goals, or professional goals, we just leave them behind. We'll say like later, later, later. But after you go through this shift and you're independent, you're raising your kids as a single mother, what do you do next? Do you take that opportunity to go back to revisit your goals in life, your dreams, your desires? What what did you do?
For me, I don't go back because we can't go back. I go forward.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that do you go and revisit those goals that you had from, like I want to do this in the future, but maybe this is it. This is the time for you to like revisit and bring them to the present.
Mm. So most of my goal I have achieved. Professional goal, I have climbed the ladder. I have done that. And I actually going downwards. And which is I have spiritual awakening. I have 8 months. I was at home with no job. So I literally released the ladder. I released the ladder, diminished the ladder. It is not there. We saw it is there. I want to go to the top so that the fruit is the sweetest on the top. There is no fruit there. We're visualizing it. So we push ourselves to the top. At the end, this is my ladder. This actually is not there. Because you become unconscious of the needs, what is existent. You become not playful. You do not know how to play, which is me. I don't know how to play. I do not know how to play. Your playfulness around with the kids is moment and moment. There's no presence. Because you've been working too much. So the goal that become diminished. What is in existence is the void for me. It was the void. I'll start from zero again. So for now, I live in the moment and the moment, and everything I know that is already there. And I train myself internal life, not becoming spiritual being. We are here not to becoming spiritual being or more spiritual being. We becoming of who we even truly who we are shredding off the layers of us. Not being illusion and delusion. That is what I am. So from there, you know very clear and focused that what is next. And I have no expectation that what is next, I want to get it. Nothing.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
ending, open the window, open it will come. And I have been doing this for 2 years now, and even more open now. So yeah. So that is for me. It's just like, oh, really, you don't have. I know people say, oh, there's no expectation, like you don't have any, like an X amount of money in the bank of expectation of what you want to do when you're retired. I focus on what is now to be with my kids. If you're thinking so far that is retirement, that you work towards retired, you work towards that is not a present, that is an illusion of the there that you created. You create the happiness that is, oh, I'll work this amount of hours, this extra money, so that my retirement will be like relaxed, like at the beach. How about now?
No,
We do anything?
now.
We connected
Yeah,
like
because
conversation with my husband last week. I said, when are you gonna come? Because he really left home, like different house now. I said, when are you coming back to reconnect to your kids? Not yet. Yes, I sent them back to the school. I said, that is not reconnect. That is returning the kid to me. Right? I was said, that is not reconnection. And I said, I don't want to have this like Saturday, Sunday, Friday, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going out. This is you. This is the day. This is the day. I said, where's so hard wanted to connect? You come and connect. I don't do those rules. I know a lot of friends here, Western people friends here that do. In Sydney, they do. Like this particular, you go to your dad, today is your dad, my dad, today. For me, the kids have the freedom, which house they wanted to stay. If they do not want to be with their dad, They come, I have room, they're still sleeping here. And they have freedom, they feel free more. If they feel free, isn't that more important? So you come and connect, bring them, have dinner. Or because the kids don't want to have that, I said, the kids don't want that, what do you do? So I don't know how to do. Then come and ask your kids what they want. Ask what kids, if you don't know, you ask, you be curious, and that's how you connect. So that is the my conversation, and then that fire him up and like, oh, just let it know. I'm very good in that. So yeah, so that's it. So that is the what is the reactivate in this Easter holiday of mine. So yeah.
And the thing is that a lot of times we become the mediators. So that's why many times the fathers, they don't develop. I'm not general. I'm just saying it, like generally speaking. But most of the times they don't connect with the kids. We're like the ones who are bringing and taking the message between, the father and the children. And when that happens, when we separate from our partners, a lot of times they don't know how to reconnect with the kids. They don't, because they don't have that relationship. They don't have that bonding.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that when
Yeah.
we still co-parenting in the same house for a few months, I said that it's holiday, it's kids' holiday. I said, you don't need to go holiday with the kids. You go bicycle, he go bicycle, go somewhere. And he had to negotiate with Pierre, really negotiate with Pierre. It's like, which weekend you are free? Because Pierre is like, a lot of like things that he wanted to go, like I got here, and then like Lauren said, I don't want to go there. So you guys mediate together when you guys want to go together. Go and do it. I said.
Yeah.
Only once. Only did once. I said, finding
It was
the common
difficult.
ground is so difficult. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Heidi, how was it for you?
Hmm. Um, you know what? I mean, I think I mentioned this before. Like I was thinking of like going back to school and getting a master's before I got pregnant with my youngest. Um, and then I just left it there. I was like, no, I can't do it. I don't have that support at home. I don't think I can do it. So, and then I mean, I didn't revisit that per se. Um, I honestly don't think I can go back to school, or I don't know. Maybe if I do something, it'd be maybe like a like a certification, like a short term kind of thing. Um, but I am focusing a lot on what's next. Like what can I do? So I discovered that I'm into flower arrangements. So I that's what I started doing. So on the side, I do that. Um, and I mean I'm not great, but I I'm actually pretty good. So I'm focusing more on like plans for the future, slowly but surely on my flower shop. And that's really exciting and that fulfills me. And I'm happy with that. And I honestly, I can't really reconsider like going back to school at all. It's more like let's look forward. Let's, find that happy place that where I want to be as a businesswoman, and hopefully that reflects back on me as like the great mom that I want to be, and I want to have this financial stability. Obviously, I don't want like a mansion, but I want to have a home, a good home for my kids, and just be a good provider. So that's where um all my energy is set at. My work, my finances, my flower shop, my kids.
Mhm. That's wonderful. And by the way, you're amazing. You're amazing. You do such a great job doing flower arrangements and all that. So you need to put yourself in, in that level. You have to cheer yourself up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I used to think that anybody could do that, but I
No,
guess not. I guess I am gifted.
yeah, that's a gift. It is a gift. Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Well, I would like to share with you guys that yes, I feel that I have accomplished a lot of the things that I wanted to do back then. Um, I one thing that I know about myself is that I'm always on the go. I want to learn things. I want to do this and that and that and that and that. So I remember, I think I mentioned it last time we met, that at one point I wanted to be a teacher. But then my mom made a comment. She was like, "No, why do you want to be a teacher? You're gonna spend the rest of your life in school." And I was like, "Okay." So I try to like please her, right? So now I feel like because my kids are growing. Two of my kids are in college, and then the other one is in high school. I think it was time for me and also I think it was a lot. It had a lot to do with the work that I do right now as a social worker. It it got to the point where it was just overwhelming and I couldn't bear. I was frustrated most of the time. So I revisit that. I was like, how about if I just go back to college and become that teacher? So I started like doing my research, blah, 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 blah. So I had my interview yesterday to be part of this program. And it appears that I'm going to be part of the program. So I feel very happy and excited because I'm going to go back to college. So
It
yes,
happened,
I'm very
Rosa?
happy.
It just happened yesterday?
Yeah, it just happened yesterday.
Oh yeah. So happy for you. So what is this program about?
It's to do the teaching credential program, but
Mm.
it's called a dual immersion program with certification in
Mm.
bilingual education. So basically, the way I was able to understand it is, it'll take me about 3 semesters studying in the summer. Um, you know, learning and doing the residency program, and then after the last semester, they're gonna take us to a state in Mexico to learn how they teach, how do they do the educational system and bring it back, because a lot of people from that state of Mexico, a lot of the students migrate to the United States and they're struggling in school. So they want to bring the same system here to incorporate it and teach them so they can do well in school. So I'm excited. I'm
Oh,
just
that
excited.
is so good. That is your dream come true. Literally, your dream comes true. Oh
So
my
I'm very
God.
happy. I feel I'm ready for this change. Yeah.
Oh, I'm celebrating with you. I'm so
Thank,
happy. So yeah,
yeah. Thank,
so like what this year January you said that no, but that no, see so many doors open.
yes, yes, yes.
Oh
Yes, we just gotta be, brave and take the initiative and say no. Say no when set your boundaries clear and say no. Like when you say no, like you're valuing yourself.
yeah,
So
honoring
yeah,
your no.
yes, yes, definitely. So I feel very happy and looking forward for this new adventure.
Yeah, so hopefully that you get to go and see Xenia as well because Xenia also doing teaching. Do you know that? she is very, very deep in teaching as well. So maybe there is some, because she teaches in Mexico for a long time. So maybe this is
Who?
Xenia.
Oh, Xenia. She's a teacher?
Yeah, she's teacher for
Oh.
women, and I'm not sure the kids as well. I can't remember, but for women, you do it online. So it would be for
Oh,
you, good for you guys to reconnect again. Suggestion to you that. So
yes. Yeah, she's been inviting us to go visit her, and I want to go visit her.
yeah, so
I really,
just begin with the chat. I'm sure that you guys have so much in common now.
yes, yes. I'm gonna share with her the news and to reconnect with her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. All right. Oh, I'm so
Okay, ladies.
happy.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. Do you
Mm.
guys have any other comments or anything else to share before I go over the topics that we discussed today?
I feel complete.
Okay, do you
Nothing
guys
for
feel complete?
me. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little summary of the things that we discussed today. We checked in and we share a few things here and there. So we started the chat with a question. Like today we focus on some questions. So the first question was basically more about the expectations that parents have for the daughters and the sons. How is it different? And how was your experience growing up? Right. The second question was when you decided to shift, move on, separate from from your ex-partner, divorce, all of that, and start all over again. How was it for you? How was that, basically um rebuilding yourself? How was it? So we discussed that. And then the last part, we were talking about some of the things, sometimes as females, we move on from being the different roles. And a lot of times we leave our goals or dreams or desires back because we want to fulfill that role as a mother, as a wife, as a partner. And how has it been for you guys now that, you shifted and you have more time for you? And, if you were thinking about going back to school or going back to revisit the goals that you have not accomplished. So, and it feels that the three of us feel very complete. Do you guys have any questions, anything else that you would like to share before we conclude this session?
No, you're complete.
Okay, good. Heidi?
I'm good. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed our chat today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, ladies. Thank you very much. And we'll have a good night. And Lillian, have a good evening.
Yes.
Okay.